Hi there, welcome. I'm Barbara Marvell Kelly, and with me is Trish Buzzone.
Hello.
Hello, it's great to have you with us. And I just want to ask you, are you living your life to lead in business or in personal? Well, if not, I happen to have a guest here who has a lot of the answers, to say the very least. Now, you are a life coach in business and in personal, and you are certified through John Maxwell.
I am indeed.
Yes, so tell me about that experience.
5 years ago, I went on a journey for myself and got out of corporate America and the consulting environment that I was in, and I looked to see who I would want to go work for that had the greatest level of leadership that I could think of in the United States, and it was John Maxwell. And
Really?
so I went to see what can I learn and where can I go, and so I thought, I want to go work for John. And so I set out to do that, and I found out he was creating a certification program for people to teach his material. And
Very
so
nice.
I went and got certified, and 5 years later, I've been able to build a beautiful business, a thriving business, being able to teach his material and help other people with their personal leadership.
So what do you attribute the success to? Some of the bullet points that you found that you were able to glean as not only a student of his certification as a life coach, but how you've been able to implement it with other businesses and individuals.
Great question. So leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. And what I learned from John is just that leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. And influence is value, adding value to people. And so what I've been able to do over the last 5 years is work with countless numbers of businesses and individuals and show them where their personal leadership lid is and how to raise the lid on their leadership, and then how to become more effective and more significant in whatever it is that they want to go after and achieve in their life.
So do you raise the bar when it comes to that self-confidence level? I'm sure you've had clients that say, well, I'm not really a leader. I don't think I can lead. How do you respond to that?
Well, I don't actually get people that say they're not leaders. Most of the people that I work with are leaders because I'm a leader's leader, and so I have the pleasure of working with people who are leaders. But what I do is I ask them, do you have any people that that you lead that don't consider themselves leaders, and then we kind of go from there. And I have to say, Barbara, that one of the things that gives me the greatest success that I can pass on to other people is that I listen, and like you, I ask questions. So you ask questions, you ask a lot of questions, and they're good questions. And so that's what I get to do for a living as well. I ask a lot of questions, and then I listen to where I'm trained to hear where people are stuck and where they're blocked. Where's the limited thinking? And so I hear that, and then I'm able to ask a question that speaks to where that limitation is and help people just reveal themselves and what's missing and what's got them stuck.
Do you find a commonality in where a lot of people are stuck? For example,
Another good question. Go ahead.
Where are they? Where are some people stuck? Give our viewers out there an idea. They may be stuck right now.
Well, let me ask you this, because part of what I do is very much about energy, and it's very much about the synergy and the connection of the people that I'm with. And I'm happy to be with you and the audience, but I'm looking at a camera just now. And so what I'd like to do is say, where are some areas in your life where you've been stuck? What's something in the space of your life where you found yourself stuck? Maybe you're not stuck there now, but it's something you've been stuck at before.
Okay.
And how did you get past it?
I can answer that real quick.
Beautiful.
Self-confidence.
Okay.
Self-confidence, okay?
Great.
Because I think you have to get past something like that in order to rise into that leadership role.
Very much so. Excellent. Very good. So most people, it can be self-confidence, absolutely.
Yeah.
Most of the time what I find is it's the conditioning that we have from the time we've been younger and the environment that we've grown up in and what we've been telling ourselves all of our lives. And so here's a really good example. So the number one fear in life is public speaking. And what happens to most people is from the time you've been a child, think about when you're 4 years old. What do your parents say to you? What's one of the very first things they say to you as they're preparing you to go out into the world? Don't talk to
strangers.
Right. And then what's public speaking? Talking to strangers.
Very good.
And
yeah.
so that creates a filter, and that's just one little example, but that creates a filter where it's just a cellular memory of something that you've been conditioned for your whole life. And as a result of that conditioning, you become afraid and don't know why you're afraid. Most people, when they go to stand in front of the room to talk, they have no idea what they're afraid of. They just know they're terrified, and it's
Yes.
because they're talking to strangers. That could be one of those
You know,
things.
that is a really very valid point. I don't know any parents that have never told their children,
Exactly.
you know, don't talk to strangers. I
Right.
mean, really, I love the way you're pulling that together. So you talk about bridging the gap and learning the how-tos of crafting a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
How does that all fit?
Can you say a little bit more about that, Barbara?
Bridging the gap in your training with getting people to, I guess, sort of, you know, come over to the other side of that, say for self-confidence. Okay, that in itself, that's a huge umbrella. There's a lot under that.
There sure is.
So how do you, just give us one point in how you would, I mean, you're discovering that. Do you have exercises that you work with them?
I do. I do some, I don't want to give away the exercises.
I don't want you
because
to
they're
either.
fun, and I wouldn't want to give them away. But one of the things that I really, truly love to do is have conversations with people to help them see where they get stopped in their own comfort level, and where they become self-conscious, and where they get uptight or locked up. And it's just through a conversation. And once you have some repetition in getting past that, and you start breaking old habits and old filters and old belief systems, you start to be able to develop some muscle and some muscle memory to be able to help you grow and continue to move forward.
Self-confidence.
Self-confidence.
Exactly. It all
Most
comes.
definitely.
I think a lot of times it just really does come back to that, and burying those anchors from the paradigms, from the belief
Yes.
systems and things of that nature. And it makes a whole lot of sense. And it just, you have a passion for what you do, or you wouldn't be doing it. And I mean, you've been coaching for a long time.
I have.
And to be able to, when did you actually get certified through?
5 years ago.
5 years ago.
I did.
Was that a pivotal time in your life?
It was. Prior to that, I was on the road for a good 4.5 years as a national consultant, and I was traveling Monday through Friday, and I was in two different cities. Every 2 days I was going somewhere different. And then I'd get home, and I was home on the weekends, and my husband started saying, you know, this is my 2-day wife. And I was calling what I was going through my 2-day life, because I'd see my husband for 2 days, and then I'd be on the road for 2 days in one city, 2 days in another city, and then I'd go do it all over again. And after a period of time, it started weighing on my relationship with my husband, and I knew that if I didn't do something, it wasn't going to go well. And there was a lid on the leadership potential that was happening inside the consulting firm that I was at, and so I knew it was time to fire my employer. And so that's what I did.
Good for you.
And
Good
so
for
I didn't
you.
stop doing what I was doing. I just let go of the limitation. And I'm going to call it a perceived limitation, because that gentleman is still thriving and doing a really wonderful job with what he's doing. But he was a catalyst for my personal growth by being able to see I had grown as far as I could inside that organization, and I wanted to take my leadership to another level. And so that's when I said, who do I really truly want to work for in the world that I think has, you know, such a great level of leadership that when you get to know the person really well, you have more respect for them than you do when you first meet them and you've got them on that pedestal.
Absolutely. Well, coming from corporate America, you now have more freedom to live the life you want to live, and she also has that freedom to help you, coach you to live to lead. And that just makes a whole lot of sense. So if you're stuck, you may or may not know that you are stuck. But if you are, or if you aren't, contact Trish, because she can help you get unstuck, or maybe raise that awareness to where people may not even realize it, but you can sort of paint that picture and ask the right questions, because that's what you do very well
Thank you.
as a life coach. You can reach Trish Buzzone at trishbuzzone.com or 813-454-6300. And I'll tell you what, I don't think we can ever get enough life coaching. It's a matter of finding the right one that resonates with you, and I'm sure that you're going to find Trish a delight to work with.
Thank you.
After all, isn't it about living life to its fullest? So why not live to lead? Makes sense to me.
It does indeed.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you, my dear.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us.